Test 1, 2, test 1, 2.
Check. Ladies and gentlemen, this is The Vocal Minority with Nick and Steve.
Nick Reynolds, Steve Harness, and Cousin Brewski. The Vocal Minority with Nick and Steve.
Take one.
We are taking one, and welcome to the podcast, ladies and gentlemen. Great to have you join us.
Welcome to the show.
That's what I said.
One is all we got, so ready, steady, here we go. 2 episodes this week. Whatever month this has been, it's been a little on and off for us.
Yeah.
We're back in swing now. So.
That's right.
Find us online, thevocalminority.net. Social medias, we got them, and they're fun. YouTube, TikTok, 2 of our best. Facebook, X, what else? Threads.
We're on Reddit. Yeah,
Yes.
go check us out there.
We are on Reddit, yep.
So there you go. There's both porn on Reddit and us, so choose wisely. You can't choose both.
That's a hard decision, dude. That is a tough one. I don't know where I'm going.
That's a bad one. Speaking of tough decisions, I was telling my son this morning that Howard Stern had Joe Biden on this week and how proud I was of Howard Stern. And my son asked me, he said, okay, Dad, what if you had the choice between having Joe Biden on the Vocal Minority or Pearl Jam? Who would you pick?
That's easy, don't you think?
I don't think that's easy at all. It'd be a dream come true to interview Pearl Jam and Eddie Vedder. But obviously the president's huge. What if it was Joe Biden or Dave Matthews?
Joe Biden, heartbeat. Here's the thing, dude. As far as a musician goes, like I can probably there's a chance I can get that interview on my own.
There's a chance.
But a presidential interview, that puts the show on the map.
I know.
Yes.
But I'd want to interview Eddie or Dave. What if it was Tom Brady or Joe Biden? Would you?
That's still, if it's the president, no, dude, that would have everybody wanting to check out this show.
Yeah,
yes.
That's probably the right answer. I get it. So.
Of course it's the right answer. Not probably, dude. It's the president of the United States of America. Think about how many people tuned into Stern, and even the Stern non-listeners are now continuing to tune in to his social medias. I mean, it's gold.
Think of it this way, though. In 4 years, Joe Biden won't be the president, but in 4 years, Eddie Vedder will still be Eddie Vedder.
Joe Biden is always the president, once and forever. It's like interviewing Kennedy or George Washington. You wouldn't interview George Washington? Come on.
Well, for the amazing comeback to life aspect of it, I think that'd make headlines. But what if it was George W. Bush or Dave Matthews? Would you still pick W?
Yes.
No.
I would.
Thank you, Brewski. No is the right answer.
No.
You'd pick Dave Matthews, Brewski, over George W. Bush?
I would pick Dave Matthews only because I know how ecstatic and over the moon you would be, Nikki.
That's nice. See, I like that. That's what friends are for, I guess.
To your point, though, Steve, even if Biden isn't president in 4 years, think about what his appearance on this show would do to our show. You know, where we would be possibly 4 years from now.
Based on polling, more people are fans of Pearl Jam than Joe Biden. So I don't know.
They don't show for the interview, though, dude. You know how many interviews there are out there with Eddie Vedder? I mean, he just did one with Stern, too. What do you think has more listenership?
Yeah. Well, the other thing, too, is that you're still at least pulling people in to check out the show. Now, whether they stay, we don't know. But at least we have a shot at keeping them in, you know?
Yes. My mom asked me, did Howard Stern interview Joe Biden? I don't think my mom's ever said the words Howard Stern, dude. I mean, that's huge.
How about the fact that Howard Stern actually wore a suit and tie?
Right. I saw that. Yeah.
You look great.
I thought that was really good because you know what it is? That's a big deal. You dress up.
Yeah.
You dress up for the president.
It's a sign of respect. I mean, it shows his class, his maturity. I mean, yeah, I think I would have, I don't know if I would have been in a suit, but I would have been Nick dressed up. You know, I'd put on a sweater.
Okay, but here's the thing, though. If you're interviewing him in the same room, that's different. You get dressed up 100%. Absolutely.
I would definitely button my flannel up for the interview. I don't know if
yeah. You know what I loved about that interview is that he admitted many times, like, I've been doing this forever. I'm nervous. I mean, he cared about the interview. Yeah. And again, you got to give it up to Stern, dude. I mean, especially this version of Stern. The interviews that he has done over the last 3 years blow me away every time. Even if it's somebody I don't care for or even know of, I get interested in these interviews.
He's always been a master interviewer. He's always been good at, getting people not to understand that they're on the radio right now or on the air. Like they just start talking but he's really taken it to a higher level as he's matured more. And yeah, kudos to Stern just for how far he's come from public enemy pariah number one back in the 80s and 90s to now the frickin' president is stopping by his show. I mean,
you remember Hillary Clinton went on the show after she didn't win and said, I made a huge error, a huge lapse in judgment. I should have come on your show when I was, running to be president of the United States, because I would have expanded my voting pool, like I should have done it.
Yep, it's good stuff.
Not to bring the show down or anything like that, but I'll tell you, when Biden talked about Bo's last words and all that sort of thing,
yeah,
I mean, I can't even imagine, especially with everything that Biden has lost, with the car accident with his first wife,
sure,
and everything, and then he's losing this son too, and I can't imagine a parent losing kids like that. I just can't.
I've said before, it's my worst nightmare. Before I was a parent, I thought me dying was the worst thing that could happen. And now I realize outliving one of my kids could be. And
yeah.
Speaking of Dave Matthews, I listened to a song the other day. I forgot he said this once. Do you know what song I'm going to bring up about talking about dying kids?
Gravedigger?
Yes. I mean, You should never have to bury your own baby. I mean, that's such a prophetic line.
You should. You should never have to bury your own baby. Yeah,
exactly.
I mentioned that because it's not something that you would have thought that they would have talked about on the Stern interview.
Sure.
You know what I mean? And for him to go down that road and let the president do that, it showed a lot of maturity. It really did.
And openness on Biden's part. He could have told Stern a one-word answer or something, but he went there. He opened up. It was cool.
You guys agree with me when I think back to presidents? Like, if it has happened in the past, I mean, I think I saw Obama get choked up a time or two, but never fully be like, oh, he's in utter pain. And for a president to show that, I'm sure has this MAGA crowd. Like, look how weak he is. He cried on the show and everything else. I thought it was a tremendous human moment from a president. And if you're going to cry about something, can it be what your brave son said before he departed this planet?
No, for sure. We talked about on the show before, things that should be antiquated for men, and one of them is crying and being emotional. So kudos to both of them. It was a great interview.
Yeah, it was a good interview. It was a really good interview.
Yes, indeed. Shall we get to it, boys?
Are you fed up with feeling like a loser? A real dummy? Are you tired of urinating and defecating in your pants? Well, I'm sorry to hear that. This is Need to Know News. News you need to know.
All right, well, speaking of news, a lot of people freaking out, and this TikTok ban, bringing up Joe Biden again here. So I got thoughts and I got comments. Joe Biden signed this theoretical TikTok ban into effect, and I think there are some people like Brewski that aren't on TikTok and don't really give a crap about the platform, that are kind of like, meh, what do I care if TikTok is banned, right? Are you on that page, Brewski, or do you have some other fundamental disagreement with TikTok being banned?
No, actually, it's so. And the thing about it is that I don't think people understand the whole ins and outs of why the quote unquote ban is actually happening, and that it was completely avoidable on the part of the Chinese Communist Party. It completely was avoidable, but they just like, fuck you, we're not doing that, and that's why it went forward.
Well, are you guys, I mean, in my area here, TikTok is running advertisements on TV, on print. There's a freaking billboard in this neighborhood that has TikTok on it. And they're putting out a lot of information, and I'm trying to figure out, are they just flat out lying to us or what? I mean, they claim, TikTok America is U.S. based, run by U.S. people, U.S. servers, blah, 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 blah. Nope. Nick, you had talked about a cybersecurity expert that said they had some flaws and all of that, right? I mean,
yeah. No, I mean, I don't know. You would think that it would be odd if they were lying to us right now while they're going through everything that they're going through with this ban on the table. But I don't know, dude. It seems like a lie to me, only because of the other stuff I've heard. And if they would have addressed it properly, they would have said, yeah, some of the crap we were doing, we have fixed your concerns, and this is what we've fixed as far as your privacy goes and everything like that. So,
I mean, I'm confused because they got raked over the coals in front of Congress, and no one was able to put forward evidence of, like, here's evidence that the Chinese Communist government has direct access to Americans' data. There's a lot of theories or boogeyman tactics, but no one showed me in black and white that it's true.
Well,
I agree.
Okay. So I have some notes here that I took I saw Raja Krishnamurthy, who's a congressman from Illinois. He was on Chris Hayes' show back a few weeks ago.
Okay.
And what he said was they said that they were going to put the U.S. data on American servers.
Right.
Which they kind of did, but what they didn't say is that they still had a backdoor way to get into those servers and pull all the data back to their servers in China as well.
But is that proven? Because why didn't any of the Republicans screaming about this show that in front of Congress?
That I can't tell you.
That's what I'm trying to figure out. I know there's theories, but I've yet to hear.
No, it's not. Who knows what anybody on the Republican side of this whole thing is actually getting money from or anything like that, especially because Trump was for the ban on TikTok. Then all of a sudden he meets with David Yass, who's the largest U.S. investor. And then all of a sudden he's like against the ban.
I know. I get that. I'm just saying there's some prominent conservative Republicans who tried to blow open TikTok, and I just wish they would have had some sort of solid evidence. Because if the theory is they have a back door built in, then how do I know my iPhone is safe? How do I know this laptop I'm on right now is safe? They were both made in China. Like, how far are we going with this theoretical access to our stuff? But
the other thing, though, too, is that it's the algorithm that ByteDance has. And then ByteDance is owned by the CCP, the Chinese Communist Party, okay?
Yep.
And what the feds asked them to do was not be the majority holder in TikTok. That's all they asked them to do. It's like sell a bit of your
And they're not
stake.
going to do it, by the way.
Exactly, of course, that they're not going to do that. But the thing about it is, if you want to do business in China as an American company, you actually have to let the CCP in on all of your data and everything. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. You want to do business in China, you have to let them in.
That's fine. I mean, I'm not saying it's fine, but that's a different topic, right? I mean,
No, it's not. It's not a different topic. It's kind of the same thing. Why should they get to dictate to American companies that we have to have access to your data? But then when the United States asks them to divest a little bit from this particular company, they get to say no.
First of all, I don't know if there's going to be a ban, to be completely honest. I mean, but the chances of us keeping them are very high, and China knows, like, if you want our product, I suppose this is what we require. You don't want our product, then don't take it. And those are your choices.
Well, and the other problem that they have too is that the CCP are the ones who completely control the algorithm about what gets shown, what stories get shown, what gets suppressed, and what gets put out there. So the whole concern is that this is going to become like a propaganda machine for them. They're going to weave in little videos here and there that maybe aren't maybe the things that you want. Like, say you want like dance videos or cooking videos, but then all of a sudden you get like these weird videos in your feed every so often that aren't what the support.
This is what I'm talking about. This is boogeyman stuff. Like, that's not.
No, it's not
happening.
boogeyman stuff.
Well, it is though, because it's not actually happening.
Steve, here's the thing.
And you can swipe.
If we weren't doing so well on TikTok right now, you wouldn't care about this whatsoever.
No, I would, and I'll tell you why. So here's my point. TikTok is not going to get banned, and I'll tell you why.
I want it to. It's garbage.
Why? Because you hate dance videos. Like, why?
I don't even see a dance video on there, dude. I mean,
you know what? It's just mindless. It's more mindless bullshit.
No, this is your perception of something you don't use, because
it's not my perception. It's you know how many people get their news from TikTok, and I don't mean from MSNBC on TikTok. I don't mean from CBS News on TikTok. I'm talking like just from like the idiots who put.
That's every social media platform, dude.
I don't get my news from Facebook.
No, you don't. But 80% of Americans get their news from social media platforms, not TikTok. Social media platforms as a whole. That's just the reality, dude.
And even if it is influencers you don't like on TikTok, they're also on YouTube. They're also on Facebook. Like, it's.
But I don't get my news from there, and nobody should get their news from these people because they don't know what they're talking about.
That's not true, though, because
yes, it is.
No, dude. dude, listen, first of all, we're influencers. We're people talking about the news on social media. Some of us are better or worse than others, but there's all sorts of actual news on these platforms. If the thing you're upset about with TikTok is that some people are getting misinformation from some sources, that has nothing to do with the Chinese government, and those same misinformations are on every other social media site.
They're completely innocent. Okay, the Chinese government is
yes, you think the Chinese
nice
government is manipulating influencers to talk about something that ends up on someone's news feed? Like,
I think I don't put anything past those devils.
Listen, why don't you use TikTok for a few months and then tell me what your opinion is?
Refuse to do it.
I know, but you're speaking from complete ignorance on the topic.
I won't do it because I don't want them.
Then stop putting an opinion in. I'm not going to sit here and talk about the Boston Red Sox, what they do in the dugout when I have no experience with it. I've heard they all sing Sweet Caroline ad nauseum. That's all I've heard. But you're missing the entire point here. TikTok will not be banned because it's never going to stand up in a court of law. Montana already tried it. They already got shot down thoroughly. You can't here in America just start banning companies because you think they're tied to a communist government. The ban is not about what you're talking about, like stupid influencers or why people get their news from social media. That's got nothing to do with this. It's all of this Red Scare. It's all the communist fear. But it's not going to hold up in a court of law.
Red Scare. So you honestly think that the CCP has no nefarious motives at all behind owning ByteDance and TikTok? You think that they don't want to use it at all for anything other than what it's used for, what we think it's used for?
Again, you're talking boogeyman stuff. I'm
asking a question.
Could they be pulling data out of that? Yes, they could be. They could also be doing it with spy balloons, with every malware on every Chinese-made piece of electronics, with satellites, there's a zillion ways the Chinese government can spy on Americans. Could ByteDance be one of them? Yes, it could be. Am I willing to take that risk?
They're owned by the Chinese Communist Party. Of course they are.
Okay, dude, first of all, no one's proven it, so stop talking about boogeyman crap.
It's been proven that they own ByteDance.
Sure, but it's not proven that they're reading my emails because they own ByteDance and I have TikTok on my phone. It's boogeyman stuff, and it's not the fucking point. The point is, here in America, if a company is legally operating here, the government is not allowed to shut them down based on fears that something could go astray. Facebook could be doing way more with your data that you don't want than ByteDance could be, or YouTube, or any of them. My point again is that it's withheld scrutiny already in the court of law. This is going to take 2 to 3 years to litigate, so TikTok's not going away anytime soon. This law also, by the way, only requires Apple and Google to take it out of their stores. Those of us that have TikTok already, the 200 million of us in America, it's not going away. There's also all this IP scrambling. You could ping yourself out of Canada and get TikTok. TikTok is not going away. It's not going to hold up in a court of law. But this is a slippery slope, and this is why you should care, Brewski. Do you want the government coming after your Facebook, after your YouTube, after your Twitter?
Here's about the Chinese Communist Party. I don't trust the Chinese Communist Party.
See, again, you are so focused on the Red Scare that you're missing the bigger
it's not the Red Scare. See, it's proven they own the damn company.
But if they can take one away, they can start taking anything they want away.
I get the point. I get what you're making the point on. I get that.
Let me read the article, and you tell me if you're still okay with this ban then. So Congress just sent a bill to Joe Biden's desk that would ban, quote unquote, the popular video sharing app TikTok unless it divests from its Chinese parent company. The legislation is a shocking crackdown on a social media business, but it comes as lawmakers ponder whether to rein in the industry in general. Quote here from a guy that I actually like, Senator Chris Murphy, a Democrat from Connecticut. He says, quote, "It can't be just TikTok. TikTok is the worst of these social media sites in terms of damage it can do, but Instagram does damage, YouTube does damage. We should be going after all of them." Do you see how they're going to take this little TikTok thing where they think people are scared, and then they're going to go, oh, but I also don't like what YouTube's doing. I don't like what Facebook's doing. Government, keep your fucking hands off our social media apps. These are our things. If you can prove that one of them is, mining your data and doing something nefarious with it, then go on a case-by-case basis and crack down on that company. But they're using TikTok as a backdoor to potentially crack down on social media and the free press in general, and to call that a slippery slope.
How's that the free press? They're not talking
social
about
media. The word media is in there. This is what we always talk about with Elon Musk. You're running a media company. People get their news on there, whether you like it or not. They do. This is a freedom of speech issue. If I want to post an article about us talking about stuff, we are the media by default. It's the First Amendment. Everyone's got freedom of press. Anyone can be a reporter. Anyone can post a story on Facebook, Twitter, X, Instagram, any of these. And now we've got congressmen going, you idiots are going to let us get a foothold on TikTok. Well, maybe we're just going to go after the industry in general, because I don't like that Facebook does this or TikTok does that. Like, it's a slippery slope, and the courts will end up saving us on this.
There's all kinds of things that are happening right now. Did you watch the Correspondents' Dinner?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. So you noticed how much talk there was in there about how important the media was, and in regards to our country and where it's going and what keeps us free. This is a media thing, dude. And I know you don't like TikTok, but we have to be careful with it. You don't have to watch it. They don't have to steal your info if you think that's what they're doing. But why haven't we got rid of Alex Jones? Why haven't we got rid of InfoWars? That's 99%, maybe 100 propaganda and bullshit, dude. And you've never cared to get rid of that. It's because we can't start targeting these media platforms, or we lose control completely. I mean, it is a real dangerous game to play. Yeah. So we're going to see what happens. I don't know. Steve gives it sounds like you're very sure of this. I don't know that I'm as sure that it's going to stick around for as long, but I'm hoping that it will. Not because I like TikTok, and I do, by the way.
But why do you like it, though? Tell me why you like it.
Dude, try it someday. I don't want to,
Steve.
I know.
I'm putting it on my phone.
Why do you wonder then why we love it?
If I lived near Nick, I would go over to Nick's house and I would
stop talking over me, goddammit. Dude, it's a thing that Nick and I both like. Why do you think we're such morons? And why
I didn't say that about you at all. I didn't say you morons.
I know, but you won't even try something. You don't even.
I don't want to, Steve. That's why. Why is it so? Why should I have to?
Then stop talking about it and stop wondering why people like it. I'm not going to wonder why people like pizza if I refuse to eat pizza. That makes me a fucking hypocrite. I can explain to you why I like pizza, but if you're not going to try it, what fucking difference does it make? You just don't want to eat pizza, and you're trying to convince me that why do I like pizza?
You know I'll download it on my phone and I'll try it just for you. Okay,
please do. You'll end up seeing.
And then you know what? And then when I don't like it, can I come on the show and shit on it?
Sure, if you give it a fair chance and you tell me you don't like seeing videos that are of your interest. I like TikTok because it shows me dirt bike videos and it shows me.
And I can shit on it.
Brewski, you can shit on anything you want if you're doing it from an informed place. Right now, you're the old man on the porch yelling at the kids that you don't understand.
The reason why I asked Nick about it is because Nick is someone that I trust. Like, if Nick gives me a recommendation for something,
all right, he doesn't trust me, Nick, so go ahead. Tell him why you like watching videos.
I'm not saying I don't trust you, Steve. I'm using him as an example. That's what I'm saying.
I'm an example, Steve. Listen, I'll tell you, I like TikTok because, I can find anything I'm looking for on there. It's almost like Amazon, where you can type a topic into a search box and you can find a ton of content on there. And just like any content that I would find on the web, I scroll through it with discretion and think like, I need to do some research to know if this is real. But the content is unbelievable. And it is fun to see people like the three of us who I would never meet, and to know that, these people are pretty sharp. I like listening to their opinions on things or the way that they may think on certain things. There's a lot of entertainment, a lot of news, a lot of facts, a lot of bullshit. You got to scroll through it like anything you would on the web.
I find it ironic that thousands of people watch you, Brewski, on TikTok, and you're here shitting on something you've never even tried. It's just a tad hypocritical.
Well, I'm a hypocrite, Steve.
Give it a try, and try it long enough for the algorithm to figure you out, and then there's nothing not to like.
Take all my data and whatever.
Get a drop phone, dude. Get a secret phone.
I'll just put it on the old Brewski phone and we'll give it a shot and we'll see what happens. That's all.
Dude, you don't have to try or like TikTok. I'm just saying, don't sit here and admonish something you've never tried. You don't see the hypocrisy in that?
I told you. I admit it. I'm a hypocrite, and I'm being honest.
All right, perfect.
That's all. Yeah.
We're gonna.
Point being, Congress is trying to use this as a way to come after all of our social medias. And point being, the courts are not going to let America ban a company just because we think they're up to something. It's just antithetical to what America is. So that is my prediction. This will go into court for the next several years, and TikTok ain't going anywhere. Love it or hate.
All right. Well, it's going to continue to be a argument out in the world of politics and maybe on this show. But maybe you know what? I don't want Brisky to try it because I feel like you're being pressured into it.
No. I'm not going to do something if I don't want to do it. And this is for the show. And for me, the show comes first. So I will do it for the show and for you guys.
Will you make this promise to me? This has to be the caveat, okay?
But I will say this.
Yeah.
I will not
Okay.
watch any videos that even if it's from NBC News, I will not look at any news videos on that at all. I won't.
Why?
Because I don't trust it. I don't trust it. But I'll look at the other stuff.
You understand it's the same thing that they air on MSNBC that they put on TikTok, right? Like what? Why?
Like it's just their live TV channel.
You're being a little weird about this. Like, why would you say that you won't watch Rachel Maddow on YouTube or MSNBC?
I can watch it on my cable. That's it's fine.
You're such an old man.
I want you.
You don't trust it.
I want you to give. If you're gonna try it, give it a fair chance. Like, all right, promise me on our hearts that you're not going into it thinking, fuck this, I hate this.
This is like when my son says, I'll try broccoli, and as soon as he touches nope, I hate it, I told you I hate it.
But I'll tell you what, though, Nick, the minute I see a stupid dance video, I'm sending it to you.
Okay, yeah, I can take it, dude.
Okay.
Again, you've got to do it long enough for the algorithm to figure you out. I know you have this perception that TikTok is just dance videos. I don't see dance videos unless it's with hot like 20-somethings. Then I do see those. I don't know why that's on my algorithm.
Oh, yeah. You don't know why they would put that up there. Not at all.
I wonder.
They'll figure you out. That is the point. So apparently they figured that out.
We wish you well on your quest, Brisky.
This is Need to Know News. News you need to know. Start the news chant, please.
Come on. News.
Ladies and gentlemen of the vocal minority, which you are, thanks for listening to the program. See our website, thevocalminority.net. Call our comment line. We forgot to tell you, 844-48-VOCAL. Use your telephone like a microphone. I'll take you to the great state of Texas, where supposedly everything is bigger and barbecue is king. A 10-year-old Texas boy confessed he used his grandfather's gun to fatally shoot a sleeping man in 2022. According to the Gonzales County Sheriff's Office, they said this homicide investigation into the death of Brandon Quinn Raspberry, 32, who was shot once in the head in January of 2022 at an RV park in Nixon, Texas. This case had gone cold. They went and found this man dead, and they had no clues, fingerprints, touch DNA, nothing. It was just completely cold. But he had been shot, and they were going to try and figure it out, all right?
I was thinking today about how many unsolved murders there are in this country. Is it really that hard to get in that category?
What do you mean? You want to murder somebody?
I'm not saying that. I mean, please. I'm just saying that if I was, I think you got pretty good odds of it being an unsolved murder. That's all.
I watch those crime documentaries, and I think to myself, what it would have been like to murder in 1984, dude. Not a camera on the street, Just DNA didn't exist.
Have you ever heard the Tom Segura bit on the first 48?
No.
He said, and the reason why that time is so specific is that after 48 hours, they give up.
And that is, you see those guys like, after 48 hours, they're like, yeah, this is hard, dude. We need more. Let's stop now while we're ahead. Yeah. That's not exactly what happened here, but it kind of is. The case went cold. All possible witnesses were spoken to and interviewed by investigators during the investigation, and all the leads were exhausted, they said. On April 12th, the Nixon Smiley Consolidated Independent School District principal told Gonzales County authorities the elementary school student had threatened to assault and kill another student on a school bus, prompting them to conduct a threat assessment. according to this release. School district officials informed the responding deputy the 10-year-old had made comments about shooting and killing a man 2 years ago, according to this release. Gonzales County criminal investigator determined, based on what the child shared at school, he may have knowledge about Raspberry's death, which was sitting cold now. They went and interviewed this little kid who, is now older, but he did this when he was 7 years old. And turns out they found the murder weapon at a pawn shop. All right. Why that matters is because this gun they found at the pawn shop had always been stashed away in his grandfather's glove box. And his grandfather lived in this RV park, 9mm. One day, 7 years old, little kid decides to go out, grabs a gun out of the glove box, just wants to know what it feels like to kill someone, okay? So he walks over to this guy's house who worked overnights, and he's asleep, middle of the day. Kid walks up, puts the gun on his forehead and pulls the trigger, kills him instantly, and then shot another one off in his couch. Went home, put the gun back in the glove box, never spoke of it, dude. And now it's figured out that this kid did this. Well, they have laws in Texas. When you're 7 years old, we can't be charged. So nothing happens to this kid now. He's not going to be charged with anything except the threats that he made. They were able to charge him on those threats, but as far as the murder goes, he can't be charged, dude. 7 years old. What do you think?
I think Texas is a phenomenal state. They're doing everything correct down there. I mean, can't be charged. Not even detention after school or anything, huh? No, nothing for the murder. That is the state law that not until you are 10 years old can you be charged. So at 7, he's free and clear. Because he was 7 at the time of death, the Gonzales Attorney's Office will not file or accept murder charges in the case. Well, first and foremost, I assume he has wonderful parents that have instilled him with wonderful, philosophies and morals on life, that he just wanted to see what murdering somebody at point blank range would be like. Secondly, clearly no problem with gun laws anywhere in this country that a 7-year-old was able to take a handgun out of somebody's truck. Thirdly, I believe we just talked about smart guns preventing exactly this kind of thing. And yes. Nick, I think you wondered, how often is that a thing? It happens. It happens. Kids get their hands on guns and do terrible things with them. So that would be solvable. But God forbid we solve any of these potential, crimes, tragedies, or anything else. Might infringe on my rights if my gun takes an extra split second to unlock for me. So, if you're trying to train a future serial killer up until age 9.5, have them just run wild in Texas.
I will tell you though, because of the severity of the crime and they can't charge him, there was obviously a little bit of concern for the child's mental well-being. So he was placed on a 72-hour emergency detention. So, they're
3 days should be enough. It's outside of the 48-hour window we were just talking about. So,
as I'm reading this, dude, the first time I'm thinking to myself, I don't know what the right punishment for that is to a 7-year-old kid. If he had been caught at 7, be like, oh, he just did that. And it was such a cold-blooded killing.
My home state of Michigan just did me proud recently, where they convicted the 2 parents of that little shit that went to school and shot up the school because there was red flags all over this kid. I mean, he was saying he wanted to be violent, and the parents still got him a gun, and so now they're both going to prison. So whoever the uncle was that left a gun loaded in his glove box, he should certainly be going to jail. If the parents had any indication, they should be going to jail. What do you do to the 10-year-old? I mean, a life of therapy at a freaking minimum. A bunch of community service, I would hope, but
not confinement. I mean, do we lock him away? Because I think he's a threat to society, obviously.
I mean, locking the kid up for a month or year or whatever, that's not going to do anything. He needs intensive mental, therapy to get
locked up in a psych ward for life.
It's tough. Young. Geez.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
it's
yeah,
tough.
whoever's in charge of that kid, they should be going to prison. And this kid should be under court mandated therapy for many, 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 many moons to come. Whether he has to live in a mental institution, I don't know. But yeah,
Listen, there's a lot of people who are in therapy. You know how many pedophiles are in therapy? I don't think therapy really works for a pedophile. I think once that's in your blood.
Well, but a pedophile's an adult. This kid's 10. You got a chance to course correct with him still.
Not sure. I don't know. That's why it's so hard, dude, because you know what? You want him to live next to you and get therapy?
I mean, do I get a choice on my neighbors? I wouldn't let any of these people live next to me. But,
No, but you don't know, dude. We're just going to let him back out into society and hope he shows up at noon to meet Sharon on Friday. You know?
I mean, please tell me so I can watch the kid next door. But yeah, I mean, it's a very catch-22. What do you do with a 10-year-old? I mean, geez.
All right. Well, we wish that little kid well here on this program, The Vocal Minority with Nick and Steve.
Need to know news. News you need to know.
It's time for another brewski. This one is a crazy brewski.
I have a cold story for you guys, and we thought the kid killing his next door neighbor was pretty cold. Well, ex-security guard had sex with corpse inside Phoenix Hospital morgue.
That's a victimless crime. Come on.
No, it's re-victimizing, dude. Come on.
It's basically masturbation. I mean, it's,
It depends if rigor set in or not. I don't know. But
oh, you guys are so disgusting, dude. Let's think about this in personal fucking terms. If this was your mother in the morgue, would you think it should be a crime?
well, she's with Jesus now, so it's not my mom anymore, is it? She's off to the heavens.
Well, here's the story from Phoenix 3. Phoenix CBS 5 says a now former Banner health security guard is accused of having sex with a woman's corpse last month at a Phoenix hospitals. They confirmed that this 46-year-old man, I'm not going to say his name.
Yes, protect him, please.
Okay, Randall Bird. Randall Bird was arrested on Tuesday. The police were called to the Banner University Medical Center to investigate the crimes. Investigators say Bird worked as a security guard at the hospital. According to police, security guards are in charge of transporting dead bodies to the morgue and placing them inside a freezer. However, guards aren't supposed to open the body bags. They only place them on the freezer shelves.
It's a guideline. It's not a law.
Jeez.
Okay, here we go. Video surveillance showed the 79-year-old victim's body arrived at the morgue. When Bird
It was a 79-year-old body?
Yes, it was.
Well, that's perverted.
Hot granny sex.
If it's some young dead hottie, then that makes sense. But some old weird.
He was in charge of transporting her to the morgue. 2 witnesses arrived to the morgue but found the doors locked from the inside, which was unusual. A light could be seen on the inside of the freezer, and the freezer door was cracked open.
Al Green was playing on the overhead speakers.
What are you doing with that curling iron? Why you got a curling iron in there? What are you doing? I don't know.
Listen, how horny do you have to be to have sex with not only a corpse, but a 79-year-old corpse? People are really odd in this world. But, there's a guy that used to work with my brother, okay? This happened at a restaurant in a small town, okay? My brother works there. Both of my brothers work there. There is a cook, and they used to tell me about him all the time. Here's this guy that spoke so poorly about his wife that it was hard to listen to. It was just sort of fucking disgusting that they would walk on and be like, "How are you doing, Harold?" And you'd be like, "That fucking cunt wife of me, woke up while I was having sex with her this morning, ruined the whole thing." Like, say terrible shit, dude. So time goes on, and they start thinking, well, it's just Harold, whatever, the weird guy in the kitchen. Well, they ran back to get something out of the walk-in cooler in the back. Yeah. Harold is in there sitting on a milk crate, masturbating with a raw chicken breast around his penis. How horny do you have to be to have sex with a dead corpse, to make love to a chicken breast?
Okay, yeah.
You tell me, the expert. We're checking in.
The answer is pretty darn horny. Not like out of this world horny. I mean, once you hit a certain level of horny, it's like when you're on fire a little bit versus a lot. Doesn't matter. You're on fire. So, it's just a minimum threshold that needs to be met.
All right.
Secondly, I am so paranoid about salmonella. I would never be masturbating with a raw piece of chicken. That's the disgusting part, that you can get salmonella everywhere. I mean, are you bleaching your junk And the fact that he did it at work, like where people could walk in. The biggest offense of Brewski's story is A, that it was a 79-year-old woman, and B, that he did it where people could walk in at work. If you're just fucking a corpse in the privacy of your own home, then I say it's America and just, you do you.
That's called defiling a corpse, isn't it? I mean, that's what they call it.
The actual charges were 5 counts of crimes against a dead person, which is a class 4 felony in Arizona.
Yes, as well as it should be.
Here's the thing, though. 2 witnesses reportedly saw a bird inside the freezer where he was, quote, sweating profusely and acting very nervous, end quote. Wow. They said that he had removed his duty belt, his zipper was open, and his uniform looked messy. They
That's
said
tough to sweat in the freezer, by the way. But okay, go ahead.
He was working hard, They said the victim's body bag was unzipped and she was facing down.
That's it. Anyone from behind looks pretty good. Well, that's always been one of my philosophies.
Have you ever seen a dead body, Steve? I mean, you haven't? Okay, maybe you're speaking out of ignorance. Go look at a dead body, dude. And then yes, you would be far less horny.
I'm not saying I would do it. I'm just saying, why are we judging this man so heavily? Who is the legal system to judge somebody? That's my question I'm asking.
We can take solace in this.
Okay.
He did finish because they found his DNA on and inside the victim.
Why are we taking solace in that, dude?
Should have worn a condom. That's
because at least he finished up. I mean,
yeah.
No, don't say yeah. Don't say it, dude. Make there be something wrong with this quickly, dude, before I lose my
It would feel
respect.
like someone who robs a bank, but they don't get the money and they go to jail. You're just like, you idiot. You didn't even get the money. At least this guy, blew a load. I mean, he finished the crime. So
all right.
And he might have warmed her body up a little bit too from all the friction and leaving a deposit and all.
Right. And what if she wasn't really dead and this brought her back to life? Everyone would say this man's a hero then.
She wasn't, dude. She wasn't.
We don't know that.
We do.
There are stories of people being buried alive. Just saying, maybe this guy thought that was the case. He thought he tested out.
Doubtful.
So I want to know, how is she face down inside the body bag? Don't they normally at least flip you over and put you on your back?
He's a gentle lover.
Now you want to respect the corpse, dude? I mean, now you want to respect it? But please put her on her back. Have some fucking class, dude.
No, but I'm saying is maybe he flipped her over so that he could kind of get, easy access,
I don't want eye contact. That'd be creepy.
This is foul, dude. This is foul.
Mildred.
This is really foul.
Mildred, you feel so good.
Yeah.
Well, there you go.
Love is love, Nick. Love is love. Okay.
Oh, that's a slippery slope, dude.
Well, you'd have to use lube, so yes, it would be a slippery slope. Yes.
All right.
This is Need to Know News. News you need to know.
Hello, Americans. This is Paul Harvey. Stand by for news.
Paul Harvey's flipping over in his grave right now.
Yeah, I'm sure. Now these nitwits get on the radio.
Good stuff. All right. Well, let's connect all the dots today, from sociopaths to abusing animals to misguided hotties. Kristi Noem, the South Dakota governor, who is definitely a MILF. I mean, can we all just agree on something today? The Kristi Noem is fucking hot.
Your standards are falling, dude. I don't think she's hot. No.
Come on.
No. Brewski, do you?
I'm not talking about her politics.
Mm-mm.
Wow. Looks wise, I mean, she's bangable for sure.
Yeah, but is she hot?
Listen, we're talking MILF category here. I'm not saying she's a 19-year-old playmate or something, but she's a hottie. She's definitely a MILF. Come on.
You bite your tongue, dude. I mean, MILF is top category. You're telling me that the 19-year-olds are top shelf? I mean, we're looking at MILFs right now.
Listen, she's hot. Nick can try to deny science all he wants, but she's hot. It came out this week that she wrote some book about herself, and she told a story about killing a dog that she had, and everyone is kind of freaking out because she shot the dog. She said the dog showed aggression and wasn't being a very good dog.
Scared all the pheasants away on her hunt.
Right. So, South Dakota Governor Kristi Noem doubled down after revealing in her new book that she shot dead her own dog, with her latest comments prompting a second wave of backlash. Nothing like going back for seconds with a hottie, I say. She said, given that Cricket, I guess that's the dog's name,
it is, yes,
had shown aggressive behavior towards people by biting them, I decided that what I did was the right thing. Whether running the ranch or in politics, I've never passed on my responsibilities to anyone else to handle, even if it's hard and painful. I followed the law and was being a responsible parent, dog owner, and neighbor. All right, where to start with this whole story? Now, listen, I know a lot of people grow up on ranches and they look at animals a little differently.
They're tools.
Yeah, they're used to putting down livestock. They're used to having dogs come and go and cats come and go. You're a fucking sociopath if you shoot the dog yourself, especially if you're a woman. For a man, that's still twisted to go and shoot the dog, but for the woman to do it, that is a special kind of twisted. Why would you not take the dog to the vet and just have it humanely put down and disposed of? You take out a gun and just shoot the fucking dog in the head?
And a goat. I mean, she shot her goat at the same time. She was on a killing spree.
She shot her dog in the face. She talked about shooting the dog in the face. The dog is 14 months old.
It's a puppy.
It's a puppy, right? And also, I'll guarantee you that the dog was probably not spayed, and so she's rambunctious, and she's got a lot of energy. And then when that neighbor went at her because she was chasing after his chickens, you see some dude coming at you, and you're a female puppy. What are you going to do? You're going to snap at the guy because you're trying to protect yourself.
Well, it's kind of like the 7-year-old we were talking about. You came from a bad family if you're 7 and already doing stuff like that. And this dog was probably raised poorly. She said, quote, "It was not a pleasant job, but it had to be done. It had to be done. There was no other alternative. You couldn't have adopted it out, given it to a shelter, put it down humanely. You had to shoot it in the face yourself with a gun.
Take it in and have it humanely put down, you wretched whore."
If it's a hunting dog, and maybe you didn't train the dog well, so you know other people who hunt, bring the dog over to them and say, hey, you know what? She's not working out with us over here. Maybe you guys can train her.
Well, maybe that dog hated her, dude. You didn't even try and call Caesar Milan. I mean, you didn't even try and call the crocodile hunter. Like, somebody could have helped this dog. And you know that there's 1.5 million people that would have taken him.
And there's 1 million no-kill shelters you could have sent the dog to.
Yes. And on top of that dog is a German short hair pointer, and it's probably purebred too. You would not have any problem at all finding somebody that would take that dog, that would get her spayed, and that would take her hormones down, and then she'd be less reactive.
1,000,000%. I love that even on the second wave, she's not making any acknowledgement of, maybe in hindsight, I could have done this a little differently. Like, I'm from the farm, so that's what I was trained. But you're right, I probably should have euthanized it. Like, nope, she's doubling, tripling down. That is a fucking sociopath that you can't even see in hindsight, that shooting your dog in the face is probably not the correct way to put it down humanely.
You know why she's not backing down? There's been talk for a long time that she's the person that Trump is going to pick to run as VP.
If she'll put Trump down, I'll vote for her. I'm joking, Secret Service. I'm joking.
There you go. It's been certified as a joke. Everything I've read says she's front runner now to be his VP.
Why do you think the actual reason why Trump would pick her is? And it's the same reason I started this whole story.
Because Steve thinks she's hot. Dude.
She's hot. That's why Trump would pick her. Yes, 1,000%.
She's gonna be Sarah Palin 2.0.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. We literally have a video about that from a few episodes back, and I put a picture of Kristi Noem up there. And if you can look at that picture of her in the cowboy hat and tell me she's not hot, then you should have your vision checked, Nick, because I'm worried about you. I'm legitimately worried about you.
You don't have to be worried about me, dude. She doesn't turn my crank. I just don't like it.
Well, I will crank my crank with her and shoot her in the face, if you know what I'm talking about.
we know you will, but that's not a high standard, dude.
I do have high standards.
I say fuck her, so are you voting for her now to get her in?
I say fuck her too, yes.
Okay.
This is the only news you need to know. After all, this is need to know news. News you need to know.
You make it too easy sometimes.
Yeah, no, I didn't mean to do that. Listen to this. Here is a guy that many love and adore and look up to. Here's a guy that not only for his follicle prowess, but his rock and roll, his guitar, and maybe even the way that he wears clothes and treats people, people have respect for. Do you know who I'm talking about?
Slash.
Oh, well, gosh, that's pretty good. Brewski, do you have a guess?
Bruce Springsteen.
Oh, okay. Well, at least you guys both got that I was talking about a musician, and I was talking about
Easy top.
Billy F. Gibbons?
Yeah, I'm talking about Billy Gibbons, dude.
There's only one Gibbons left now, right? Isn't there? Didn't the other one die?
You're talking about Dusty Hill. Dusty Hill passed, yes. But Frank Beard, the drummer, is still alive.
Good. I'm not a ZZ Top fan. I don't dislike them, but they're just one of those 80s bands. Spotify came up on my playlist. I was like, no, I don't want ZZ Top.
You don't have to love them. They're not on any of my playlists, but I do have respect for Billy Gibbons, just as a musician, old time. I mean,
I'm not saying I hate them. I'm just saying they're not my cup.
Listen to his blues guitar stuff. If you get into blues guitar stuff, just him doing blues stuff, you might dig it.
No, for sure. I respect their music per se. LaGrange, if I have to pick a ZZ Top song, is great. But all the sharp dress, man, no.
You may find more respect for Billy Gibbons because, unlike Ted Nugent and Kid Rock, he is not a conservative. He is not bowing down and loving Trump. In fact, he's going the other way. America's Got Talent finalist Benton Blount, a country singer and guitarist from Greenville, North Carolina, was on tour with the famous ZZ Top man. He was opening for him, okay? He showed up to concert to open up for him wearing a Make America Great Again hat.
Oh, boy.
Billy Gibbons did not go crazy for that sharp-dressed man. He fired him, dude, and said, "You're off my tour for that bullshit. I want nothing to do with anyone that would ever wear that hat."
It's a slippery slope in a lot of ways, but that's the one category I would say, yeah, you're fine. Fire someone over their political views. Because if it's your concert and he's opening for you and putting that mega crap out there, like...
Yeah. He's representing your brand, you as a person. Show. Yeah, it's your show. So.
No. I mean, as a general rule, I would say let people have their opinion, especially musicians. But yeah, that's the one category I'd say, no, go fuck yourself, mega freak. Get off my stage. I was having a discussion recently with someone about, the history of musicians and politics. That, going way back, I mean, certainly into the Bob Dylan era in the 60s and 70s, there was a lot of musicians that were political. But 99% of the time, it was progressive or liberal issues. Sure. There's such a narrow category of conservative, especially rockers, maybe more in country, but it's a pretty narrow category. And when you look at who you're associated with nowadays, it's like, Kid Rock, it's Ted Nugent, it's like Three Doors Down. It's not good people that you want to hold up as, boy, I really love Three Door Down, music, but I'm going to look the other way in their politics. Like with Dylan, you could ignore maybe some of his politics if you disagreed because he's an amazing musician. But isn't it funny how most musicians are progressive or liberal?
Yes, because they are smart and talented. I mean, who can we think of? Just like you said, yeah, artsy folks. Yes.
Yeah. So, when you're a creative, you tend to be progressive and liberal. I don't think that's a coincidence. When you open up your mind and get tap into the creativeness of the universe, you tend to not be a discriminatory asshole.
Yeah. What do you got to have to be a great musician? All right. You got to have pain. You got to have, which in turn makes you have to have compassion. You have to have happiness. You got to be grateful. All these emotions, I guess that's the number one thing that just opens a perspective of people saying like, no, I'm not going to be closed-minded like that.
No, you got to tap into creativity, and that tends to be open-minded, and that tends to make you progressive and liberal. So kudos to Stop.
How was Nick handling the news?
I think I'm handling it pretty well, but that's for you to judge.
This is Need to Know News. News you need to know.
We had a story a couple of weeks back, remember, about the illegal butt implants?
Butt injections.
This is actually far worse, believe it or not.
And by the way, just real quick, if someone missed that episode, there was people going around offering like what would have been collagen injections for your Kardashian ass, and it was some just black market substance.
Doing the laundry room for a quick $5,000.
Right. Yeah, exactly. So, well, this is actually even more scary. It entails something that are called vampire facials, which already makes me think really bad things. But
is that a porn category?
Are you thinking about bloody semen?
Right.
Hey, listen, I had a classmate in broadcasting school that routinely talked about going down on his girlfriend when she was on the blob, and how much he loved it. So,
and by the way, Bloody Semen is called Thousand Island because that's what when you mix the two together. So.
It's a great band name. You got to admit, Bloody Semen, ladies and gentlemen. Brewski, what is a vampire facial?
Well, let's see here. A defunct New Mexico spa previously under investigation for potentially exposing clients to HIV through vampire facials has been linked to at least 3 cases. 3 women have tested positive for HIV from these injections.
What is it, though?
So what it is they used old needles. They found 100 former clients. They had spread bloodborne infections such as HIV, hepatitis B, and hepatitis C. They were just reusing the same needles over and over again. And they said they determined at least 2 of the HIV cases could be linked back to the procedures at the spa. It was Botox injections, just reusing the same needles over and over again.
And that makes sense. I mean, we hear that in the tattoo world or hospitals or whatever. You can't reuse needles. But what is a vampire facial, though? What are they?
They're giving facials, normal facials. They just call them that because they're using needles that have blood on them.
They would use needles that had bloodborne pathogens inside of them. So when they're injecting them into someone's face, now they're taking all that diseased blood and they're injecting it into people's faces.
Unbelievable, dude. I mean, how irresponsible. First of all, needles are not that expensive, dude. Come on, like, you get your shit together. I saw a story last night on TV about a red flag is called a sushi restaurant in Montana. All right, that is my red flag. A lady ate at a sushi restaurant in Montana, and this nitwit had gone out and got all these mushrooms out of the forest, and he got a certain type of variety that are very poisonous unless you cook them. And he was serving them raw. He served them to a ton of people. 60 people reported getting food poisoning that was terrible. One lady died an hour after she ate them. Okay. This is businesses that have a responsibility, dude, that when I go in, your chicken's going to be okay. It's not going to make me sick. You're going to put needles in my face that are clean. But sometimes it's up to you to be like, hey, I didn't see you take the needle out of the package. Like, you got to be an advocate for yourself, dude, because people aren't going to do it for you.
No, and that's a good point. Although eating sushi in Montana, that's an even bigger red flag than not noticing a dirty needle being used.
Well, and I'll tell you, I just got a new tattoo last week, and I mean, my tattoo artist was changing needles, cleaning everything. I mean, just everything on the up and up.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, it's a bad business model. I know you're saving a couple bucks reusing the needles, but when you go out of business after killing people, it's going to hurt your profit margin. I guarantee it.
Yes.
I'm sure you're going to go to jail, dude. Fuck going out of business. Like, you murdered people. That's neglect.
Speaking of butt injections, you go to prison, you're gonna get the wrong kind. So
yeah, well, now unfortunately we have 3 ladies who went to get Botox and now they have HIV.
The good news is, though, and I mean this in all seriousness, of today versus when we were teenagers, step up or prep up. Most people don't die of AIDS or even have HIV turn to AIDS anymore.
This is true.
Thank God, dude. This is a new world. When we were teenagers, dude, AIDS was a death sentence.
Yep.
You're
HIV
right.
was definitely, yeah.
No harm, no foul on this vampire facial. You're not going to die from AIDS. Come on.
So far, we're thinking about the guy and wishing him well that killed the man in his sleep. We have best wishes to the guy who fucked a corpse. And the vampire facial's no big deal, dude. Like, no harm, no foul.
You're overstating a little, but yeah, basically yes.
But TikTok, for crying out loud, that we will not joke about.
You gotta draw your line somewhere, okay?
That's right.
Yeah. We did draw the line also at shooting your dog in the face.
That's right, Bruce. Yeah. Another one that we will
We
not.
have a decent moral compass, so amen.
Yeah.
This is the Vocal Minority with Nick and Steve Olabruski. We do have a decent moral compass. That's a great motto. We have a decent moral compass. Join us.
Yeah, find us on the web, thevocalminority.net. Call us. Tell us what you think. 844-48-VOCAL and a variety of social media platforms. Some of which may fail, some of which may be banned, but we're on all of them for now. So find out.
What language will Brewski say goodbye in today?
Sayonara.
And we say bye-bye.
Test 1 2, test 1 2.
Stop. I gotta pee. I'll be right back.
Pee. I have to pee.